Good afternoon. Welcome back to Grandma Teresa Grace's channel, where I share my prayer life and whatever I'm reading with you. I'm not a teacher, a theologian, a counselor, a psychiatrist, nobody. I'm Grandma Teresa Grace with many flaws, have many good points, but many flaws, many shortcomings. So I don't want you to put me on a pedestal or think I'm better than, no, I am Grandma Teresa Grace. And I hope that this is going to be a reading only. I'm going to be reading from the Book of Heaven, Louisa Picaretta. We are on volume 1, and I'm going to be starting today on page 21. And I always say this prayer. And as we're reading this book, I want everyone to understand that this here prayer that I say is meant to be said like with every single thing that we do all day long. So I go through like the body of Jesus. This is my beloved, and I am his. And God the Father has given me a free will and a divine will. And I get to choose how I'm going to live. I'm always at choice. God will never, ever take away my free choice. But we learn in the divine will that we can surrender our human will to God, and He will exchange it for the divine will of God the Father for our life, which is a much better place to be living, because in the divine will we find joy, happiness, peace, and contentment. So before every single act that we do during the day, if we can remember to say, Jesus wants to wash dishes, I want to wash dishes with Jesus. Jesus wants to take a shower, I'm going to take a shower with Jesus. Jesus would like to vacuum the floors, I'm going to vacuum the floors with Jesus. That every single thing I do is in union with Jesus. And I can say this prayer as if I'm praying it from the first created creature to the very last created creature. We will learn all of this as we go along in the book, but just imagine that we're praying for everything. We're praying for our world from beginning until end, for every single person. So that's why this prayer is so very, very important to me. And I feel like through surrender is the only way that I have found victory in my life over anything that I've had to deal with. And after yesterday's reading, I was touched to the core. It really, really impacted me. And I spent, I don't know how long this morning. I would like to read what I wrote in this book this morning. But I'm a bit embarrassed. I don't know. I have to pray about that. I might be able to share it with you. So that's what this prayer is all about. So I'm going to ask right now, Jesus, please come. And Jesus wants to read right now. And I want to read with Jesus. And I want to speak with Jesus. I want to see, hear, and look and feel with Jesus as I read Louisa Picaretta's book to you. Jesus wants to read this book. And I want to read it to you with Jesus, okay? Let us begin. I will not talk at the end of the video. I'm just going to shut it off. And I'm going to read for 15 minutes and then I quit. Okay. Yesterday I was holding the book in my hand over there. I realized I don't have to sit at the table. This book is heavy. Okay, let us begin. Page 21, and I'm on the left-hand column right at the very top of the page almost. When the Divine Master freed me from the external world, then he put his hand into purifying my interior. And through an interior voice, he told me, now we are alone. There is no one left who may disturb us. That's profound, huh? Aren't you happier now than before, when you had to content many upon many? You see, it is easier to content one alone. You must consider it as if you and I were alone in the world. Promise me to be faithful, and I will pour such and so many graces into you that you yourself will be amazed. Then he continued telling me, I have made great designs upon you. As long as you correspond to me, I want to make you a perfect image of me, beginning from the moment I was born up to my death. I myself will teach you little at a time that you will do it. And it happened in this way. Every morning after communion, he would tell me what I was supposed to do during the day. I will say everything briefly, because after so much time, it is impossible to say everything. I don't remember for sure, but it seems to me that he told me that the first thing which was necessary in order to purify the interior of my heart was the annihilation of myself. That is humility. And he continued telling me, "See, so that I may pour my graces into your heart, I really want to make you understand that by yourself you can do nothing. I am very much wary of those souls who attribute what they do to themselves, wanting to make of my graces as many thieves. On the other hand, with those who know themselves, I am generous in pouring my graces in torrents, knowing very well that they can attribute nothing to themselves. They are grateful to me. They hold it in that esteem which befits it, and they live with the continuous fear that if they do not correspond to me, I may take away from them that which I gave. Knowing that it is not something of their own, all the opposite in the hearts which reek of pride. I cannot even enter into their hearts because they are so swollen with themselves that there is no space in which to put myself. The miserable ones take my graces into no account, and they go from fall to fall, up to their ruin. Therefore, on this day, I want you to make continuous acts of humility. I want you to be like a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, who can move neither foot to take a step, nor a hand to work, but expects everything from his mother. In this way, you will stay close to me like a baby, always praying to me to assist you, to help you, always confessing to me your nothingness, in sum, expecting everything from me. I tried to do as much as I could to content him. I would make myself smaller. I would annihilate myself, and sometimes reach the point of feeling my being is almost undone, in such a way that I could not work, nor take one step or even one breath if he did not sustain me. Also, I saw myself so bad that I was ashamed of being seen by people. Knowing myself as the ugliest, as in reality I am still. So much as I could shun people, I shunned them, saying to myself, "Oh, if they knew how bad I am, and if they could see the graces that the Lord is giving me, for I wouldn't tell anything to anyone, and that I am always the same. Oh, how horrified they would be with me." Then in the morning, when I would go again to communion, it seemed that in coming into me, he made me feast for the contentment he felt in seeing me so annihilated. He would tell me other things about the annihilation of myself, but in ways which were always different from the previous time. I believe that he spoke to me not once, but hundreds of times, and if he had spoken to me thousands of times, he would have always new ways to speak about the same virtue. Oh, my divine Master, how wise you are! How I at least corresponded to you. I remembered that one morning, while he spoke to me about the same virtue, he told me that because of lack of humility, I had committed many sins, and that if I had been more humble, I would have kept closer to him, and I would not have done so much evil. He made me understand how ugly sin is, the affront that this miserable little worm had made to Jesus Christ, the horrendous ingratitude, the enormous wickedness, the harm that had come to my soul. I was so dismayed that I did not know what to do in order to repair. I did some mortifications. I asked for more from the confessor, but few were given to me. So they all seemed shadows to me, and I did nothing but think about my sins, though clinging more and more to him. I had such fear of moving away and of doing worse than before that I myself cannot express it. When I was with him, I did nothing but tell him of the pain I felt for having offended him. I kept asking for his forgiveness. I thanked him for having been so good to me, and I said to him from the heart, "See, O Lord, the time I have lost, while I could have loved you." So I was unable to say anything but the grave evil I had done. Finally, one day, reprimanding me, he told me, "I do not want you to think about it. When a soul has humbled himself, convinced of having done wrong, and has cleansed her soul in the sacrament of confession, and is ready to die rather than offend me, it is an affront to my mercy. It is a hindrance to drawing her close to my love, because her mind is always trying to roll in the past mud. She also prevents me from letting her take flights toward heaven, because she is always with those ideas wrapped within herself. If she tries to think about it, and then, see, I no longer remember anything. I have perfectly forgotten about it. Do you see any rancor or shadow on my part?" Oh, Lord. And I said to myself, "No, Lord, you are so good." But I felt my heart split with tenderness. "Well then, are you the one who wants to carry these things on?" And I said, No, I don't want to." And he, "Let us think about loving and contenting each other." From that time on, I did not think about it so much. I did as much as I could in order to content him, and I prayed that he himself would teach me what I should do in order to repair for the past time. And he said to me, "I am ready to do what you want. See, the first thing that I told you I wanted from you was the imitation of my life. So let us see what you lack." "Lord," I said to him, "I lack everything. I have nothing." "Well then," he said to me, "do not fear. Little by little we will do everything. I myself know how weak you are, but it is from me that you must draw strength." I don't remember it in sequence, but I will say what I can. And he added, "I want you to be always upright in your operating. With one eye look at me, and with the other eye look at what you are doing. I want creatures to disappear from you completely. If you receive a command, do not look at the people, no, but you must think that I myself want you to do what you are being commanded. So, with your eye fixed in me, you will not judge anyone. You will not look at whether the thing is painful or enjoyable, whether you can do it or not. Closing your eyes, do all this. You will open them to look at me alone. You will take me together with you, thinking that my gaze is fixed on you, and you will say to me, 'Lord, for you alone I do this. For you alone I want to work, no longer a slave of the creatures.' So if you walk, if you work, if you speak, if anything you do, your only aim must be that of pleasing me alone. Oh, how many defects you will avoid if you do this. I'm sorry, just reading this, whoa. Other times, he would say to me, I also want that if people mortify you, insult you, contradict you, keep your gaze fixed in me, thinking that from my own lips I am saying to you, daughter, I myself am the one who wants you to suffer this, not the creatures. Remove your gaze from them, but you and I always, all others, must destroy. See, I want to render you beautiful by means of these sufferings. I want to enrich you with merits, work your soul, render you similar to me. You will give it to me as a gift. You will thank me affectionately and will be grateful to those people who give you the occasion to suffer, repaying them with some benefit. By doing this, you will walk as upright before me. Nothing will ever again give you restlessness, and you will always enjoy peace. After I tried to exercise myself in these things for some time, now doing it, now falling, although I see clearly that I still lack this spirit of uprightness, and I am ever more confounded, thinking of such great ingratitude of mine, he spoke to me about and made me understand the necessity of the spirit of mortification. Although I remember that in all these things that he told me, he always added that in everything should be done for love of him, and that the most beautiful virtues, the greatest sacrifices, would render themselves insipid if they did not take origin from love. Well, charity, he said to me, is a virtue that gives life and splendor to all others in such a way that without it, they are all dead. My eye receives no attraction, and they have no power over my heart. Be attentive then, and let your works, even the least ones, be invested by charity. That is, in me, with me, and for me. Please, I'm sorry. So let's go back to mortification. I want, he said to me, that all your things, even the necessary ones, be done in a spirit of sacrifice. See, your works cannot be recognized by me as mine if they do not have the imprint of mortification. Just as a coin is not recognized by the people if it does not carry on itself the image of their king, even more, it is despised and neglected. The same with your works. If they do not have the graft with my cross, they cannot have any value. See now, it is not about destroying the creatures, but yourself, making you die in order to live only in me and of my own life. It is true that it will cost you more than what you have done. But pluck up courage. Do not fear. It is not you who will do it, but I myself will operate in you. So I received more lights about annihilation of myself. He said to me, you are nothing but a shadow. As you try to grab it, it escapes you. You are nothing. I felt so annihilated, but I would have wanted to hide in the deepest abyss, but I saw myself incapable of doing it. I felt such blushing that I remained mute. While I was in this undoing of my nothingness, he said to me, "Draw near to me, cling to my arm. I will sustain you with my hands, and you will receive strength. You are blind, but my light will serve you as a guide. See, I will place myself in front of you, and you will do nothing. But look at me in order to imitate me." Then he said to me, "The first thing I want you to mortify is your will. That self must be destroyed in you. I want you to keep it sacrificed as victim before me, so that your will and mine may become one. Aren't you happy?" "Yes, Lord, but give me the grace, for I see that by myself I can do nothing." And he continued telling me, "Yes, I myself will contradict you in everything, and occasionally by means of creatures." And our 15 minutes is up. Whoa. Oh, I'm so moved and touched by this reading. I hope that you are too. Please like and subscribe. Share this video with someone. Somebody else needs to hear these words, not just us. Thank you so much for watching. Hugs, kisses, until the next time. I will be back to read more.